Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian, the librarian, a prisoner she'll stay, until the witch is happy and lets Marian go away.
Hi, I'm glad to see you. I wanted you to be here when I opened these presents. There are 3 of them, and each one says, "To the Once Upon a Time Machine." So let's see what's inside. Oh, look, it's a goose. I wonder what else is here. Why, it's her friend, the gander. A goose and a gander. Let's see what else we have. It's a pretty Christmas wreath. A goose, a gander, a Christmas wreath. I bet these all make a story. Let's put them in the Once Upon a Time machine and see what kind of a story we get. The gander, the goose, and the wreath. And we'll turn it on. And it's called Petunia's Christmas by Roger Duvoisin. The new snow was soft, like a kitten's fur. Petunia liked it that way, and she went out for a walk to feel it with her feet. She saw that the deer, the rabbit, the squirrel were also out in the snow. They were hunting for food. Petunia went up the hill, through the woods, down the valley, where she slipped into a tailspin on the frozen stream. The country looks all new when it's like this, thought Petunia. It's lovely, like a farmhouse when it's freshly painted. But the walk made her hungry, and she searched for food through the snow. When she reached Windy Farm on the other side of the stream, Petunia was stopped by a call. Yoo-hoo! Psst! Yoo-hoo! Who could be calling her? Petunia was very curious. She ran over to see. She found a big gander in a small yard enclosed by a wire fence. "Good day. My name is Charles," said the gander. "You are pretty. Who are you?" "I am Petunia," said Petunia. "You are handsome." "I am too fat," sighed Charles, "being fattened for Christmas. Alas, I fear I'll be roasted and served with applesauce. Aren't you being fattened too?" "Pets aren't fattened," said Petunia. "I am a pet. Why don't you come with me and be a pet too? Mr. Pumpkin, my farmer, is a nice man." "Oh, I would love it," cried Charles. "But I am a prisoner. I am too heavy to fly over the fence, and the gate is closed. The farmer's wife opens it when she comes in with my corn, but she always closes it behind her. Oh, Petunia, if you could only help me escape." "Of course I will," promised Petunia. "Christmas comes in 3 weeks. That will give me time to think and do something. Wait for me. I'll be back soon." Petunia plodded back over her tracks. Her heart was full of the handsome gander, and her head full of ideas for freeing him. Petunia lost no time when she arrived at her farm. She brought the cold water paint from the tool shop and painted herself into a fairy tale monster. She looked so fierce that she was afraid to look at herself in the mirror. Then she returned to Windy Farm, all painted up. The fox came to meet her on the way, for he had smelled goose flesh, but he ran off in fright at the sight of her. Up at Windy Farm, Petunia waited behind the barn for the farmer's wife to come out with the corn for Charles. She waited and waited until her feet were cold, and for goose feet, that's very, very cold. But the farmer's wife came at last, and as soon as she had unlocked the gate, Petunia shot out from behind the barn, making terrific war honks. Honk, honk, honk! "Help! A flying dragon!" shrieked the farmer's wife. She fled to the house. So there, the gate was open. Charles came out. He walked off with Petunia over the hill, free. But that was not all. The farmer heard his wife's cries and got his 2-barrel gun and went to shoot the flying dragon. He found the tracks in the snow, Charles's big tracks and Petunia's. It's a goose-footed flying dragon," he muttered, "and it stole my fine gander." So with his gun cocked, he followed the tracks over the hill and through the woods and right into Mr. Pumpkin's farm. "Well, neighbor," said Mr. Pumpkin, "what do you want to shoot on my farm with your big gun?" "That flying dragon stole my fine gander," said the hunter. "Look, its tracks lead to your barn." At that moment, Petunia came out of the barn, honking her loudest honks. But the hunter did not run like his wife, for he had a gun. He aimed it. "Don't shoot! It's Petunia!" cried Mr. Pumpkin. "I know her voice." "Petunia? What's that?" asked the hunter, resting his gun. "Well, she's our pet goose. Why, neighbor, she almost scared me, too." While Mr. Pumpkin admired Petunia's war paint, the hunter went into the barn where he found Charles hidden in a pile of hay. "You will escape no more," said the hunter, and he led Charles away. "A 20-pound goose at 75 cents a pound, that's more than I can afford to lose." Poor Petunia, how she cried. She loved Charles so. But then she thought of the farmer's words. 20 pounds at 75 cents. 20 times 75 cents. That's a lot of money. If I had it, thought Petunia, I could buy Charles freedom. I am going to earn it. So Petunia began the easy way, she thought. But people were too busy to stop and read her sign. They went on about their business, and few pennies dropped into Petunia's cup. She would never earn Charles' freedom that way. Time was too short. So she went to the woods to gather a load of pine twigs, which she brought to the barn. The barn smelled good with the pine scent. Petunia sat among the twigs, and she tied them into beautiful Christmas wreaths with red ribbons. When she trotted out to town with the wreaths piled all over her, Petunia was the gayest Christmas goose you ever saw. People liked her so much that they flocked around her like children around a window full of toys. Everyone wanted Petunia's wreaths. Some even asked whether they could buy her too. She soon went home with her cup full of coins. Petunia counted the coins 3 times on the barn floor, but there were not enough. Not enough to buy all of Charles's 20 pounds. Poor Charles. She must make some more wreaths to sell. Petunia made more wreaths. She made paper angels, she made stars, paper Christmas trees, and other Christmas things. And she went to town again to sell them. At last she had enough money, even enough to buy a few extra pounds, just in case. But was it not too late now? Christmas was so near. Petunia almost flew to Windy Farm with a bag full of coins. Oh, joy! Charles was still there in his yard. The farmer and his wife opened their eyes as big as Christmas tree balls when Petunia offered the bag of coins in exchange for Charles's freedom. They were good-hearted. The farmer's wife wiped her eyes with the corner of her apron when she thought of Petunia's devotion. They would not even take the bag of coins. "Charles is free," the farmer said. "Keep the coins for a happy Christmas." Charles and Petunia thanked the good farmer and his wife, and they went out together over the hill. Petunia and Charles were married on Christmas Day. The barnyard had never seen so much dancing, singing, and feasting. It was a very, very merry Christmas. Oh, what a nice story about giving at Christmas time. Petunia gave all her hard work so Charles could be free, and the farmer gave them both their money back, and everybody gave Charles and Petunia a big wedding party. Giving makes people happy, doesn't it? Let's go call Kerfumbly and see if she likes this story. And if she does, maybe she will finally let me out of here. Oh, I would love to see my friends at the library, especially at Christmas time. Come and help me call her, will you? Left and right and Zachary Zoo, here's a story just for you.
Oh, well, hello there. I'm so glad to see you again. Oh, don't worry about Marion. Kerfumbly had another spell of feeling nice, and she wanted to give Marion something. So she gave her a trip back to the library to visit her friends. Oh, she'll be back soon. Oh, look. Oh, what's this? Petunia's Christmas? Who is Petunia? A goose? Well, where did she get all these wreaths? Oh, she made them. Oh, she made them for people to buy? Well, why did Petunia need money? Oh, to buy Charles. So the farmer wouldn't eat him for Christmas dinner. What happened to Petunia and Charles at the end of the story? Oh, they got married. Oh, what a lovely story. And I've enjoyed seeing you again, too. Merry Christmas.
Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian the librarian